What you may not understand is that my star is elevated and I can't be regulated because my greatness has been negotiated. My path is my creation, and regardless of adulation, each step I take is filled with gratitude and elations. You see, this journey I am on, try to lower my greatness, there are no negotiations. Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach, Uncle Renz, and I wanted to go ahead and get this video while it was still fresh in my mind. That's why I'm doing it now. I'm not holding the camera, so don't worry about me driving and doing this. And I'm looking straight. But I had this thought process that had me up to about 2 o'clock in the morning last night. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm up, and I just can't get this out of my mind. And I don't know where it came from. It didn't just pop, nothing was said, nothing was done, nothing brought it to my mind or my memory or anything like that. I just started thinking about this last night. So what is it that I was thinking about? Well, it's a theory in quantum physics that I was thinking about, but I want you guys to understand the basic premise of it before I talk about that aspect of it. You know how many of you, if not all of you, have at one point in time been asked the question that if you can go back and say something to your younger self, what would you tell your younger self? And in general, we have all these things that we may tell our younger self. And you spend that 15 minutes, boom, you talk to your younger self, and then you leave. And then the idea is that you come back to your current time frame and everything is different. Your whole life is different. People you've been around. I mean, so many lives would be different if you went back and changed something and you now are different. But just to keep it focused, you went and changed everything. You went and said something and you expect this big change. Well, there's a theory in quantum physics, because no one has time traveled yet that we know of. There's speculation and conspiracy theories. But there's a theory in quantum physics that says that time is like a river, and if you go back in time and if you throw a stone in that river, it will create a ripple, but the river will correct itself, meaning that you can go back in time. You can say that one thing to your younger self, but because you only spent 15 minutes there, you said that thing to your younger self, life would correct itself, the river would correct itself, and you would still be who you are today. Wouldn't be much change. You go back and you tell yourself to love more, work less or work harder, or you tell yourself about Microsoft, but your younger self may not listen to you. Your life will still come out the same. That is what this theory says. So I was thinking about that last night. How do you make a change? How do you do something different? Because otherwise you're saying that your life is fated to be what it is today, and your life is fated to be what it's going to be in the future. And in a sense, that's true. But the reason why it's a theory, other than no one has proved it, is the fact that theories have variables. And if you add a variable to it, it changes the theory, it changes the outcome. Let's say you were able to go back in time, but instead of 15 minutes, you spend the rest of your life back in time mentoring yourself, mentoring your young self. You see, unlike going up to the river and throwing a pebble or a stone into that river, no. You're throwing many stones. You're throwing rocks. You're building a dam. You're creating something now that actually can change the course of the river. You're doing something now that can stop the flow of the river, and then you could dig a new pathway for the river. So if you were able to go back in time and spend the rest of your life mentoring yourself with the knowledge that you have now, well, now that's different. That's different than going down 15 minutes saying something to yourself. Now you're back there mentoring yourself, guiding yourself. Now you can make long-lasting change. It's kind of like being a parent. A parent that's with his child for like a year is different than a parent that's with his child for like 18, 20 years. It's totally different. So I was thinking about that. So how can I apply that to today? I know that's what the next question is. How do I apply that to today?
Yeah, I could go into a whole thing about getting a coach and all that sort of thing, and having somebody be your mentor and all that sort of thing. But then I started thinking about other laws of the universe. The law of cause and effect. The law of, reaping and sowing. The law of, you get out what you put in. Energy. The law of energy. Like, what you put out is what you're going to get back. All those kinds of things that you know these things. You know that what you put into something is what you're going to get back. You know the Newtonian law of for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. You know cause and effect. For every cause there is an effect. For every effect there is a cause. You know these things. So the mentoring, you already know what you would tell your younger self. You already know what you would mentor to your younger self. Now you think about it in a format of you already know the future, and that's the variable. You don't know the future now. But you do know that if you don't put in the work, you don't put in the time, you don't put in the energy, the effort, you don't go get the knowledge, you don't go and apply that knowledge, which is called wisdom. If you don't go and do that consistently, see, you can't do it one time. You have that one moment where you was on it, man. You got the work done. You was the best husband. You was the best parent. That one time, that moment that you was awesome. But it was just one time, one moment, one pebble thrown into the river. Because what you do with the majority of your time, what you do with the majority of your wisdom, the majority of your actions, you're going to get the river of that reaction. The majority of the causal factors that you initiate, you're going to get the river of that effect. And if you're an effect, if all you are an effect and other people are the causal factors, you're just going to receive whatever river they flow from. So that had me up all night. Because there are a few areas I myself are lacking in. There was a few things that are present in my life that I know I need to change, that I need to, scale up. And so I said I didn't know why this was on my mind last night. Now I actually do know why it was on my mind last night, because I was sitting there in my meditations beforehand thinking about what do I need to scale up next? What's my next level of transformation? What's the next, what part of my life that I need to, ramp up? And in doing that, that's how I got to that point. So, what is it in your life you need to scale up? You need to ramp up. You don't need a future you to come to you now, and for that future you to say, okay, now I'm going to coach you, I'm going to mentor you because I've already been there. No. If you want to have more money in your life, there are things you can do, but you got to do it consistently and continuously and with wisdom. If you want to have more love in your life, there are things you got to do, but you got to do it more consistently, and with more wisdom. If there's anything that you want to do in your life, you got to do it more consistently and with more wisdom. So, if you guys, if you're looking for a coach, you don't want to go at this alone. You don't want to just trust in just yourself, or you need a tangible partner there with you. Give me a call, send me an email, hit me up, and we can figure it out. We can work it out. But if you don't, find something tangible. Find someone. And I need you to find someone. You need someone. A gentleman who is probably going to watch this video. Right now, my prices are not affordable for him. And I get that. So he asked me what books could he read. And I told him to read The Richest Man in Babylon. Because right now his issue is finances, read The Richest Man in Babylon. Then he sent me a message and said, well, what other books can I read? None. Read that book. Live that book. Become that book. We skip book to book to book to book to book, keep getting our feel good so that we can say, yeah, I've read the E-Myth. Yes, I've read Think and Grow Rich, which I'm gonna do a video about that. Yes, I've read, The Richest Man in Babylon. Yes, I've read The Kabbalion. Yes, I've read. That makes you feel good because you look good in front of other people because you've read all these books. But I have to ask you the question, what book are you living? What book are you living? And for everybody who's going to say the Bible, are you actually living the Bible? Because the Bible has a lot of business stuff about making money, about loving people, about how to live your life, how to eat, how to exercise, how to do a lot of stuff that a lot of people are not doing. So don't claim it unless you're doing it at least by 80%. Nobody's going to be 100% on anything. But if you ain't doing it 80%, don't claim it. Do not claim it if you're not doing it 80%, at least 80%. I know that I am doing the Kabbalion over 80%. I know I'm living the Alchemist over 80%. I know I'm living Tantra over 80%. I know I'm living the Emerald Tablets. I'm about 90% down on that. And there are some other books. The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm about 80% on The Richest Man in Babylon. Used to be 100% circumstances. Now I'm about 80% on The Richest Man in Babylon. I don't, and I won't go and read another book. There's another book that, right now I'm studying the Tao Te Ching. So I'm about 60% Tao Te Ching. And as I study that, the esoteric thought processes of the Bible, the Gospel of Thomas, I'm living like 90% Gospel of Thomas. So I don't move on to another book or another philosophy or anything like that until I'm at least living 80% of what it is that I'm currently studying. Because if I'm not, then there's no need for me to move on to another book. I haven't mastered that one enough yet. So master the book you're on. Pick one and master that first. Because when you're mastering it, you're being it, then you'll be putting forth that effort, right? You'll be putting forth the amount of effort and energy you'll be putting out, you'll be getting that reaction. You'll be getting that flow. You'll change the river. You'll dam up the parts of your life that's stopping you, and you'll be able to let flow a new path, a new direction. Be like the great Babylonians during the Emperor Sargon's time frame and other emperors who created the great canals that turned the desert into an oasis. And you can turn the desert of your life, the desert of your future, into an oasis. All you have to do is live it. You have to get your philosophy and live it today. And like I said, get a tangible partner. If you're not paying for a coach, then find a friend who is ready to live it with you. And if they don't live it, they stop living it, if they're basically bullshitting, then find a new friend. All right, this is why the richest people in the world, this is why the most successful people pay for a coach, because they know they're going to get the value of their money. But when it's just a friend who says, yes, I'm going to do it with you, kind of like, you got that weight loss friend, you losing the weight, but they ain't losing the weight. Or you got that weight loss friend, but both of y'all be sneaking off and say, oh, we just going to have we're going to go to Dairy Queen just today. We're going to go to the Cheesecake Factory just for today. No, you don't need that friend. You don't need that friend. Trust me. I have had many friends who are just friends for the time frame. I don't keep people around me that's going to hinder my progress. So, it may sound mean, but at the end of the day, this is my life that I'm concerned about. And I can't allow my life to be in the desert simply because I want to make somebody else comfortable. I did that, actually. I did that for a good 20 years of my life, 20 plus years of my life, where I kind of shrunk myself to make everybody else around me feel comfortable. And there's no point in that. You're going to find yourself in a desert. And if you ever ask me why my life is not as abundant, I don't have as much abundance in my life as I should with the knowledge that I have and understanding that I have. And it is because for so many years of my life, it started when I was 14, that I started saying, I'm just going to conform to make people happy around me, and I'll keep everything on the inside. Every now and then, the reason why I do have the level of abundance I do have is because it occurs when I've had my flashes, when I've stood on my own feet and said, this is Lorenzo, this is Coach Renz. When I've stood on my own feet and I've said that, and I stood for me, then that is when I've had abundance, and those around me felt that abundance, received that abundance. It's during those times that I made the most money. It's during those times I've had the most love. I've had the best health. I've had, the best of everything has been in my life when I've done it, because I said I am going to be 100% me and become the being of the wisdom, of the knowledge and understanding that I have, which means that I became wise in those things and wise in my life. And it is the times that the reactions when I put forth when I've not done that is when my life has suffered. It's when things and people around me have suffered. And it took a while to rid all of that stuff out of my system. It took coaches, mentors. It took watching my kids grow up and not wanting that for them. Not wanting that for them, making sure that they are being authentically and truly who they are, and not what other people think they should be. So anyway, that what was on my mind. You guys are throwing in pebbles. We're throwing pebbles in the river of our lives, and we got to build dams. We got to build a dam, and it takes time. Stop looking for something to happen overnight. It takes time. Just to get to where I am now in my mental, in my mentality and my spirituality. I mean, this to do it where I'm not concerned about what other people think. This has been a journey. This last 8 years have been that journey. It has been that journey with a few setbacks, but it has been this journey over these last 8 years of just pure being of what I know. That's why I didn't, when YouTube first came out, I wasn't saying all this stuff. I wasn't talking. I was working on me, getting me right. Now I'm at least at a stage where I feel like I can show you the rest of my journey. You can see the rest of my journey, but I'm far enough along my journey that I can be of service to other people. And another reason is that this is all documentation, not for myself, but for my kids. Although I expect to live for 300 years, if something tragic were to happen to me, my kids will always be able to say, what are some of the lessons I can learn from Dad? Because you know how kids are. I tell them things, they don't necessarily listen. They need to hear it over and over and over and over again. So this is also for my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. So this is documentation for them. But before I spoke, I wanted to make sure I was at least at a certain level, living a certain way. Yeah, I started to jump on YouTube when it first came out, but I waited 7 years before, as far as speaking like this. So y'all have a great day. I'm gonna let you go. Enjoy yourselves. Remember, you gotta build a dam if you want to change your life. You gotta build a dam. You gotta start building that dam now. And if I can help you, I'll be more than happy. I will be very thankful to help you, because no one has to come to me for help. So I'm very thankful for anyone who does. So y'all have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Remember, your greatness is non-negotiable, and you got to free yourself to be yourself.